Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. A lot of things to discuss once again tonight. A few managers being linked, the latest in Graham Potter, of course, a load of contract extensions and 3 Leicester City players departed the club. Obviously, Leicester not giving them contract extensions, and I think it's all pretty expected. Vestergaard getting a 3-year deal, which is interesting. Vardy with that 1-year stay, and of course, Kelechi Iheanacho and Dennis Praet all leaving Leicester City this summer. And of course, from the title, Graham Potter, who, look, it's not the most realistic one, but there has been a fair few links from some reliable sources. So we are going to go through it tonight. Of course, the search for the new manager does continue at Leicester City. There's still no real standout name, and it's been about 5 days since Enzo got officially confirmed. I can't remember the exact date it was, but yeah, hopefully we can start to see a bit more of movement. Obviously, the Euros begins next week, and ideally, in my opinion, we want to have someone locked in before then. But yeah, make sure to go and drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel as well. A few of you guys in the chat here already. Big up, big up. But yeah, let's get straight into it then with Graham Potter, who, for me personally, I'd snap your hands off if we could get Graham Potter. But like I said, it is going to be very difficult to attract him to come to Leicester. But this is from John Percy, so as reliable as it gets with Leicester City transfer news and manager news, etc., etc. So yeah, Leicester City have made contact with Graham Potter, the former Chelsea and Brighton manager, as they ramp up their search for Enzo Maresca's successor. Potter is regarded as a serious target for Leicester. Though there is some realization that it will be hard to basically get him to come to Leicester, as obviously we are newly promoted, we've got the points deduction, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's kind of expected, really. And it also mentions here the fact that Carlos Corberan is also a key contender. Obviously, we went through him last week, so make sure to go and watch that video if you haven't already around Carlos Corberan. Talking of videos, make sure to go and watch the Keep or Sell video, which went up the other day, where I go through the whole Leicester squad. I decided to post it on the day where the contracts got officially announced, but there we go. But yeah, there are the links then around Graham Potter. Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the chat, your opinions on Graham Potter. Would you take him? Would you not? I think most of us would take him. Obviously, there was a report from TalkSport as well. Not the most reliable thing, but obviously John Percy from the Telegraph went and backed that up. So I think it's evident that Leicester are interested in Graham Potter. Obviously, we had interest in him when Rodgers got sacked all them years ago. So it's only a year ago. And obviously Potter rejected us then. But like I said numerous times, I don't think that's him really rejecting Leicester as a club. It's just the timing wasn't fantastic in that scenario. So yeah, I don't blame Potter for that. But look, Potter hasn't been in management for over a season now. Surely he wants to come back into it. I know lots of people are saying, oh, he's going to wait for the England job, but surely you want to go into a club job, in my opinion. The England job, yes, it's good in major tournaments, but when there's no major tournaments, it's boring, really, isn't it? So, yeah, I would be fairly surprised if Graham Potter did go onto that. But yeah, let's go through some of his tactical stuff then. Just like Corberan, I've done my research. A lot to go through. It's quite interesting in terms of the play style. It's kind of similar to Enzo in some senses. He likes to play that box formation in terms of the 2 holding midfielders, and then in terms of Potter, instead of its 2 flat midfielders, the inverted attackers kind of come in. And so, and in the case of Brighton, which I'm going to focus this on a lot, are the wingers, which is very interesting indeed. So yeah, let's look at how he set up at Brighton then. I think to note about Graham Potter is that it's incredibly flexible. A lot of players moving around. As you can see, Trossard, who's now a winger for Arsenal, came inside quite a lot. So it's very flexible. A key principle is that you need lots of technically gifted players, especially in the midfield. If you cast your minds back to Brighton with Alexis McAllister. I just remember that game where Brighton absolutely destroyed Leicester. I think it was about 5-2. Yeah, that's McAllister. Had Caicedo. They ripped us apart that day, and that was a Graham Potter masterclass. So, yeah, in terms of the formation, you have got the 3 centre-backs, which in this case, I believe are Veltman, Dunk, and obviously Ben White when he was at Brighton. So, be interesting to see how Leicester would play that. And then obviously you've got the 2 flat midfielders in Lallana and Basuma for Leicester. That could potentially be Harry Winks, who's potentially a bit more advanced. And then you kind of got this front 4, which is just a bit all over the place, really. You got Morpay kind of on the left. You got Trossard, Welbeck, and Gross. So, yeah, in terms of the attack, it's very, very flexible. And at times, from my research, if I can get it up, where are we? I don't know, but yeah, basically, it's very flexible across the front line, and I think that could suit Leicester quite a lot. Defensively, obviously when Potter first went to Chelsea, well, when he went to Chelsea, did it go to plan? It wasn't fantastic, but then you saw Pochettino go there, and he didn't really improve. So I think it's difficult to judge Potter and someone in that Chelsea job. So, but in terms of his performance at Brighton, I thought he did very well. Obviously, De Zerbi came in when he went to Chelsea and obviously pushed on to Europe. But I think Potter really did lay some good foundations at Brighton to try and achieve that. So I think in terms of his tactical ability, I've heard that his man management is very good as well. So I think Potter would be a very good candidate for the Leicester job. But in terms of actually getting him, it's going to be difficult in my opinion, because he had the Chelsea job, did well at Brighton. He's probably going to get the England job if he wants it. Going to Leicester, is he going to want to do that? I'm not sure. Hello, Leicester Fox, welcome to the stream. But yeah, let's continue to have a quick look at Potter's tactics and whatnot. Defensively, very, very solid from what I've looked at, which is obviously going to be important for Leicester going forward. But in terms of the setup itself, basics, if you can see it, I don't know if you can. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. If you can see that there. So obviously Brighton are in the dark blues. So you've got that flat back three, which could be, Faz, now Yannick Vestergaard, potentially Cody or Harry Souttar. And then you got the wing backs, which for Brighton go incredibly high and wide and pretty much form the basis of every attack. Because just like I said, the front four is very interchangeable at clubs inside. So the wing backs are very key to provide that width. And when Potter was at Chelsea, he even put Sterling in this right wing slot. So it'd be interesting if Potter did come to Leicester, how he would operate the likes of Stefan Mavididi, Abdul Fatawi, because in this formation, you haven't really got out and out wingers. So it'd be interesting to see how they would do. And like I said, it's similar to Enzo with that box shape. Instead of having that inverted right back in Ricardo, you've got that flat double pivot, which, like I said, could be Dewsbury and potentially and Diddy, Dewsbury, etc. Winks, and then you got the more advanced eights, which obviously this season were and Diddy and Dewsbury as well. So it has similar elements. The back three is interesting. Obviously, it would take a long time to implement that, but it worked. And to be fair, and Potter did quite well with limited players. To be fair, he had like more pay up top, and I think he did very well. The keeper Sanchez is very key as well in building up. So Hermanson works perfectly in my opinion. And like I said, in terms of the build-up, the centre-backs will spread out wide and usually have one of these players, let's say Harry Winks, will come deep to pick up the ball and then get going. So in terms of the tactics, it's not as similar as Corberan is to Maresca, but it's got very good elements of it. And obviously, in terms of Potter, look, he's got far more experience in the Premier League. He's worked at smaller clubs as well. I can't remember the club, but he did go. I think it was Austin or something. I don't have a clue, to be fair. But yeah, he's worked at a range of clubs. Obviously, did well at was it Swansea? Yeah, he was at Swansea weren't he, for a bit as well. So I think Potter is obviously the most experienced. Or he's not the most experienced candidate on the list because David Moyes is there. But in terms of the candidate playing this type of style, it's the most experienced by some stretch, in my opinion. I mean, Potter has already rejected us once. Yeah, that's true. But realistically, if you think about it, you've managed at Brighton, moved on to Chelsea. Are you going to really walk into a relegation battle with what was about 6 or 7 games left? I wouldn't. So I don't blame him for that one bit. So look, I think it's going to be hard to get him, just like I said a few times, because Leicester are in a difficult situation. We've got a relegation battle, as we know. We're going to have a points deduction. Finances aren't great. So I wouldn't blame him, and I would not be surprised at all if Potter just said, no, move on. And, I'd rather him do that if he wants to, because then we can write him off and look to focus on somebody else. Yeah, 100%. Potter had amazing luck with Brighton's. Yeah, that's true. And I doubt he could do the same with Leicester, showing what he did at Chelsea. The only thing I'll say with the Chelsea thing, yes, it wasn't good, but then again, Pochettino came there and was it any better until the end of the season? I don't think so. So I think it's hard to judge him on that, but obviously it wasn't fantastic. But then again, I just think in terms of Brighton last season, obviously they did very well under De Zerbi, but I think Potter did lay the groundwork to that. And yes, the scouts at Brighton were fantastic, but Potter he definitely played a part in that. I've heard he worked quite closely with the sporting director. I think it is Dan Ashworth at Brighton at that point. Obviously, he's gone to Man United now. So yeah, Potter will be doing some nice work with Rookie. Carlos, yeah, first. Yeah, that's a good question actually. In an ideal world, if we had the choice, Potter or Corberan, honestly, I don't know. It's tough because I think Corberan's had more success with more limited funds, which obviously works with Leicester. But Corberan's never managed in the Premier League, and Potter has and been fairly successful with it. So it's difficult. In terms of Potter, he's obviously had a while away from football in general, really. We saw Eddie Howe do it. He obviously left Bournemouth, came to Newcastle, was incredibly successful. So could that happen with us? Potentially. But I think it's very hard right now to judge. Obviously, there's a few names going around in Steve Cooper, David Moyes, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now, which I think are interesting shouts. Steve Cooper, it's difficult with him. Obviously, there is that Forest connection. He's had Premier League experience, but I just can't. I can't see it. I can't look away from the fact that yes, he had all them signings, and they weren't his signings, but he's had all that funds and players to work with, and I think he's had about 12 Premier League wins. I just can't see past that in my opinion. And I thought, this season at Forest, he was very poor. Last season, just about stayed up, did fairly well. Slight bit of luck, you could say, but yeah, I think with someone like Steve Cooper, if Leicester are going to go down that route, just get David Moyes, because if you want Premier League experience, you want to get someone for free, get David Moyes. And obviously, it's not the most exciting decision, but I just think if Leicester are going to get Steve Cooper, I don't get why you wouldn't get David Moyes, because for me it's fairly similar, but that's the way I see it. Pochettino did a pretty good job having in mind misunderstandings with Chelsea board. Yeah, that's true. But I just think with Potter, maybe he did need a bit more time. And I think with Potter, obviously he's walked into a top 6 club for the first time, so it would have taken quite a while to adapt. Obviously, Pochettino's been there, done that, Tottenham, PSG, etc., etc. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing David Moyes come in because he can give us stability, even though Tottenham's boring. Exactly that. I think we'll end up signing Potter, but I don't know if he's what we need. Experience, he would. Yeah, exactly that. I think with Potter, I think it would take a while to get going, so we may have to be patient. But with someone like David Moyes, I think you got more chance of him hitting the ground running. And maybe Steve Cooper on that one. Obviously, there's a few other names getting linked. Ancelotti's son got linked the other day. I don't think he's going to come, but I think he could come on to be a very good manager. In fact, because I did read something about that he actually does a lot of the work, and Ancelotti just basically sits back and tells him a few bits, pretty much. But yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, enough of the manager discussion. We've gone through it so many times now. But pretty much in terms of Potter, it's kind of a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2 kind of formation. I was going to quickly look at my notes if there's anything I've missed out. So the centre back spirits, we mentioned that. Wing backs very, very key. Victor Christensen potentially. If you guys have watched my keep or sell video, I did say to keep Christensen because I think he could have a big part to play this season, especially with Motta leaving Bologna. But yeah, I'd say the key bits about Potter, it's interchangeable, it's flexible, but you'd have to have some technically gifted players. It's an absolute must just because of the way he plays through the lines. And you need centre-backs who are obviously comfortable on the ball. And that suits Leicester, which is part of the reason why I would like to see Potter join us, because I do think he is a very good manager. He's a good man manager as well. He works quite well with the players and gets the best out of them. So I think it would be a very good one to get. But personally, I don't think it will happen. So that's why I'm not going to spend the whole video on it. Raw chop one. Fair enough. To be fair, I was not keen on it at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I think, you know what, just for this season, just to keep us up, I wouldn't be too against it, in fairness. And if you're offering me Moyes or Cooper, I'd take Moyes in a heartbeat. So yeah. Have you read Sutar's quote? I did see something about that. Yeah, that basically wants to stay and try and impress the manager, which is perfectly fine with me. I think Sutar, just like Christensen, why's the sun coming through? Could have a big part to play next season. Obviously, last season didn't play a minute, but when Sutar did play for us, this obviously joined in January. That 5 months, obviously, when Leicester got relegated, I thought he was pretty good, to be fair. And he still plays for Australia. He's still done a job there. And when he has played this season, albeit not much, he seemed fine to me. So yeah, I think Sutar could definitely be a big part of our season once again. But in terms of looking ahead to players next season, obviously I am a few days late to this, but I think it's time we obviously discuss the players who have departed Leicester this season. It's a John Rudkin masterclass, boys. Dennis Praet. We could have sold him for 3 years to Torino. Rudkin wanted to get that extra million, and he's gone for absolutely nothing. John Rudkin, take a bow. He still annoys me, but and even Kelechi. Surely we could have sold him for a bit of money, but no, he goes for absolutely nothing. And this is why we're in this PSR mess. But anyway, yeah, as we know, Albrighton, Kelechi, Dennis Praet, all leaving Leicester, pretty much expected. In terms of Wilfred and Diddy, obviously Leicester are still trying to sort out a contract with him. But with that being said, I don't think Wolf will leave, because if it was so obvious that Ndidi wanted to leave Leicester, he would have got announced with these guys. So the fact that we're still trying to get a contract with him, I think means that Wolf is probably going to be staying with Leicester. Albrighton, I think that's fairly obvious. He wasn't much involved this season. Absolute legend for Leicester. So be interested to see if Albrighton does go anywhere else or does hang up his boots. So be interested with that one. Kelechi is a sad one. Start the season off very well, but since AFCON, he's barely played a minute, and yeah, I think it's time for Kelechi to move on. And Dennis Praet, to be fair, I'm quite a big fan of Dennis Praet, but yeah, obviously he's not getting regular game time. He's made it clear he wants to leave, so good luck to Dennis Praet, and hopefully he can get his move to Torino, which has been on the cards for the past 5 years, it seems. But anyway, apologies for the sun, boys and girls. It's decided to come out for the first time today, and my blinds are not shutting properly. So yeah, apologies for the glare. But yeah, let's get back into the chat. Make sure to let me know your thoughts on the contracts and whatnot. Yeah, it's true. But then again, look, he did well at West Ham, and if it's a case of playing boring football and it keeps Leicester up, I'll take it right now. Vardy, yeah, 100%. We'll move on to that in a minute, but that's massive for Leicester. Hopefully, it is on reduced wages, but yeah, the main thing is that Vardy's still at Leicester. I'd rather start a nice project. Yeah, it's tough. Personally, I would like to see a nice project as well, which is why my number one candidate is Corberan. But then again, the main objective this season is to stay up, obviously. And the main objective last season was to go up. And obviously, we achieved that. So I think in terms of a project, it's quite hard right now, because I think we need to have 2 years in the Premier League sustainably before we can try and look to progress a bit further. Obviously, I want Leicester to do as best as we can, but being realistic, we just need to stay up, secure a spot in the Premier League for the next 2 seasons or something like that, and then I think we can potentially progress onto that next level and try and push for Europe once again. But it's difficult, and I think getting someone like Corberan is a bigger risk for Leicester, because I think it will work one or two ways. It will either be fantastic, we'll stay up, and then we'll have a manager to really push ourselves on for the next 3 or 4 years, or it could work awfully. We sack him, try and get someone like Moyes in to salvage the season, and then it's too late and has to go down and we're back to square one. So yeah, it's tough, and Top's got a big decision to make. Vestergaard staying, yeah, 100%. I think 3 years is incredibly steep, but then again, is it planning for the future? If Leicester go down again, Vestergaard's more than capable to play, and yeah, he was very good last season, but My only concern is that step up to the Premier League, and as we've seen from the newly promoted sides last season, that step up is very big these days. So is Vestergaard going to be able to, perform standing on the halfway line with Erling Haaland in behind, even Ollie Watkins now, even players like that. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for him. Dennis Praet, biggest waste of space, no effect. Yeah, that's true, to be fair. I think with Praet, it's been a weird one because he came in and did quite well. And even then, he obviously was playing consistently for Belgium. But yeah, obviously he had that loan at Torino. And we all thought since then he's never going to play again. But he's just always been knocking around for the past 5 years. Thanks, Gary, mate. Really appreciate that one. King Carlo from West Brom, fingers crossed. I take Corberan risk, even if we end up going down. Yeah, that's true, actually. Corberan could... if Leicester got Corberan and went down, and if he stayed on, I would back him to keep us back up. But, yeah. Let's try not to think about going down. But we'll have to see what that points deduction is. But, yeah, moving on then to... where should we go? Yannick Vestergaard? Nah, Vardy. Got to be done on it. So as we know, Vardy has signed another 1-year extension at Leicester, making him at the club till 2025. Is this going to be the last season? I don't know, because I think the last 3 or 4 years we've all been thinking, is this it for Vardy? But he just keeps churning out the years. And last year did very well when he said that he still feels like he's got it. So hopefully he can keep going. But it's going to be interesting for Vardy next season. I think in terms of a striker, I can't see Vardy being less striker week in, week out. I still think he'll have a role to play, but I think it's pivotal that Leicester do go and get a new striker, because for me, I think Dak is going to leave 100%. Is Cannon ready for the Prem? I don't think so. So, in my opinion, we need to make sure we get a striker, which is going to be difficult because every time we try to get another striker, it's hard. And trying to sign a striker in the Premier League who can score you 15 goals a season is one of the toughest tasks in football, in my opinion. So, yeah, if Vardy can stay fit and he's still on it, he's still scoring goals, I still back Vardy to get about 10 goals next season, potentially. But as we saw from the season we went down, Vardy was pretty poor that year. So hopefully he can perform like he did last season. But I think he ended about 15 goals, didn't he? Obviously, ended the season on absolute fire, did Vardy. So, fingers crossed he can do it again. Just don't want Cooper, fair enough. 15 points at the start of the season. Hopefully not. I don't like Daka on. I can't see Daka staying. I cannot see him staying. And he just doesn't have any attributes, in my opinion, to make him a Premier League striker. He can't finish. He can't hold the ball up. He can't dribble. He's fairly weak. You know what I mean? I just don't think I can't see it happening. The fact Vardy is our best striker at 59 years old is crazy. Yeah, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, striker-wise, I don't have a clue who Leicester could potentially go with next year. But that is a long way to go from that one. But obviously, the other news, I haven't got the tab up for some reason, is obviously Yannick Vestergaard. As we touched upon, a contract till 2023 for him. So yeah, can't finish to save his life, absolutely. But it's weird though, because when he first joined Leicester, I'd say the opposite, because he seemed to finish everything. But last 2 years, it's ridiculous. When Daka first joined, I really thought Leicester had got a really good play. I remember that Napoli game. He had that goal disallowed, but he made the impact. Scored his first goal in that famous win against United 4-2. Then got the 3 against Spartak Moscow a few days later. I really thought, here we go, we've got the Vardy replacement. But after that, Jesus, awful. Yeah, I can't see that happening, to be fair, but I would take it. But I think that'd be a big stretch. Obviously, there has been some links with Tammy Abraham, but I can't see that happening. But if Leicester could, that would be an unbelievable signing. And I think it'd suit us down to the ground as well, especially with Fatu was crossing. Abraham would be there every single game. Exactly, yeah, 100%. But the Legia Warsaw game as well at home, he scored then, didn't he? Get Tammy Abraham, yeah. If Leicester can get Tammy Abraham, that would be the signing of the summer for me. I think you do unbelievable stuff for us, and you never know. Maybe up for the challenge, but Yeah, be interesting. Be interesting to see where Kelechi ends up as well. Obviously, there was some talk about him going to Villa, Palace as well. So, be interesting if Kelechi does stay in the Premier League. In terms of Dennis Praet, I think he'll go out to Italy or maybe Spain or somewhere like that. And I think Albrighton, Jesus, will probably end up retiring, in my opinion, because I think he's done his work. Grafted, deserves to hang his boots up, in my opinion. So depends on the money situation. Yeah, I think wages for Tammy are obviously going to be very high as well. But I think in terms of wages as well, be interested to see the wage of Yannick Vestergaard. Hopefully, it's gone down a bit, but we'll have to see. Yates, do you mean what, the Forest one? I think if you're talking about him, I think midfielder wise, it's probably our strongest position, to be fair. Because obviously we've got Samore coming back, and I think he could still have a part to play next season. Obviously got Winks, Dewsbury Hall, potentially Wilfred Ndidi as well. So yeah, I think that middle part we are looking fairly strong. We could do with some backup, in my opinion, but yeah, I wonder what Vardy is on. Be a lot, but maybe Vardy's took a little decrease as well. We'll have to see if anything comes out about that as well. But yeah, it will be interesting. But hopefully, Ndidi can get wrapped up in the next couple of weeks or so. Obviously, we got to the 30th of June to get that done. Oh, you mean Jerry Yates? Yeah, the one we were linked to last summer. I think he went to Swansea and he didn't do too well. So no, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take him. Any news about Graham Potter? Yeah, Leicester are interested in him. There's been no progression, but Leicester have made some talks, according to John Percy from the Telegraph, but nothing more than that one. So we'll have to see. But right now, Leicester seem to be interested in a lot of different people. So yeah, fingers crossed. This time next week, we'll have some sort of strong rumour, and then we can really look in depth at a manager, because it's all well looking at Potter's tactics and whatnot, but I don't want to spend the whole video talking about it because it probably won't happen. So yeah, we'll have to see. But as of right now, I think if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Corberan from the list. But the only thing with that is obviously Leicester had to pay compensation to West Brom, so that could be the only downside to that one. But if Corberan was free right now for Leicester, I think Leicester would 100% get him. But it just depends on that compensation fee to West Brom. But then again, we got 10 mil from Enzo from Chelsea for Enzo. Sorry, so you would have thought we could potentially reinvest that one. But yeah, boys and girls, I think we have pretty much covered anything. Make sure to go and drop a like on the stream. So big news as well, actually. I will be off to the Euros. I'm going to Romania versus, I think it's Slovakia. And I'm going over to see an England game as well, hopefully. So yeah, that will be in the next couple of weeks. So there'll be some good videos coming out from Germany, which should be a good one. I'm only going Tuesday to Thursday, but yeah, should be good to go to my first international tournament. So I'll do a few videos on that one. 50 quid a ticket. I thought, why the hell not? So yeah, let's do it. It's Corberan. The way you make it repair this season, yeah. Yeah, I think Corberan would definitely be our ideal. And if you guys want to see some tactical insight on Corberan, make sure to go watch the Corberan stream, which was last week. But yeah, to be fair, boys, it's the 9th of June. I just want the season to get started, because it's been a while already. It's been over a month since Leicester played, and we've still got another 2 months to wait. So yeah, it's going to be a long old summer. Final question from Jamie: would I take Rob Edwards? No, I wouldn't really. I don't think he didn't really impress me. I think he's got his. I think he's set on Luton. To be fair, I think if Leicester are going down that route, you may as well just take Moyes. Or to be fair, I'll probably take Cooper over Rob Edwards, in my opinion. So yeah, no. Fair enough. I don't think he's an awful manager, but I just don't think he's the right manager to lead us to staying up, because he tried it at Luton and got kind of close, but obviously fell away at the end. And in fact, still went down with points deductions for Forest and Everton. So he didn't really do a fantastic job. Yes, fair enough. It's fair enough. And look, there's so many managers out there. Obviously, the Sun. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being linked with the Leicester job. Would you guys take him? It's an interesting one, because when he first went to United, I don't think he did too bad, but obviously stayed there for far too long, and his stocks have gone down. But then again, he's another manager who hasn't been in a job for a very long time as well. So potentially it could be one to get as well. And I've seen some people say that they would take him, but it'd be interesting. Yeah, I think Ollie's an interesting one because he hasn't got too much experience, but then again, he's managed at Manchester United, and if you base off the off managers at United the last decade or so, he didn't really do too bad, did he? So it's a tough one, and yeah, massive gamble. Yeah, but yeah, it wouldn't be my highest on the list. But if Solskjaer joined Leicester, I actually wouldn't be too against it. I don't know. I just feel like he could do something, but that is a debate for another stream. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up here, boys. Thank you very much for coming. It's much appreciated. Make sure to go and drop a like. Subscribe to the channel as well for consistent Leicester content over the summer transfer window. Make sure to go and watch the video from the other day where I do the keep, sell, loan, etc., etc. And yeah, I'll see you boys in the next one. Hopefully, the next time I'm talking to you boys live, we'll have a more concrete link around a manager. But yeah, I'll see you guys then. Stay safe and up the Leicester.